Hey guys, Prowl 1701 here, and today we're going to be reviewing episode 3 of The Time Meddler, a Battle of Wits, I believe it's called. I really enjoyed this one. Hartnell is amazing in it. First off though, let me talk about the monk. I really liked the monk. The actor playing him, who I know is, if I remember correctly, a comedic actor. Just watching as he gets more annoyed by all the conveniences that are going on to him today. It's like he keeps having all of these different people show up while he's trying to get his dastardly plans done. The look on his face when he's like, somebody else. How many people are coming in here today? He just seems so inconvenienced. And I think it's hilarious. And just the looks he gets on his face. At one point he even makes some kind of remark. I forget exactly what he says. Something to the effect of, I can't even have this monastery to myself anymore. Like, everybody's coming in here. It's absolutely funny. It amuses me because it's like I've had those days where they're not necessarily bad days, but all those little things just kind of keep happening that are just bothersome and irksome and extremely inconvenient. You know, like somebody calls and you have to drive 45 minutes out to help them with something. It's not a bad day, it's just an irksome day. And that seems to be the day the monk is having, and I felt really bad for him. Also, as I'm watching him in this episode, it occurs to me he keeps reminding me of Patrick Troughton. I don't quite know what it is. The way he talks, his facial expressions, and his body language, what he does with his hands, kept making me think of Patrick Troughton a lot. And I kept sitting here thinking he's like an evil Troughton, like an evil second Doctor. Maybe evil is not quite the right word, but like a bad second Doctor. And I love that. And since I started thinking of it like that, I was really enjoying his performance. It was a lot of fun. I really liked the Dr. Hartnell in this. I love when he sneaks up behind the monk, when the monk keeps hearing the knock and checking the door. And at one point, I don't know why, like when the monk's going out, I'm like, watch out, monk, it's a trap. It's probably the doctor luring you into a trap. And then I'm like, what am I saying? I'm rooting for the wrong person here. I just really feel bad for the monk with the rough day he's having, the just inconvenient day he's having, because I get those. I've had those days. I'm sure you've had those days. But I do like when he's looking around, suddenly the doctor's right behind him putting that stick in his back, and he's just like, I don't know how the monk sees it unless it's out of his peripheral vision, but and the monk goes inside. And I like how when he goes inside, the doctor who's holding a stick to his back is like, this is a Winchester 73 right on your spinal column. And I'm sitting here like, you liar. And then, Hartnell turns around and shuts the door and looks at him. Proceed. I love Hartnell right here with these. Of course, he's got this shit-eating grin on his face that he gets sometimes when he has the upper hand. He's so smug and confident right here, like, got him right where I want him. And I love what he says right after that, too. I love that. Proceed. And then right when he has him walking in there, the monk's like, I didn't think I'd see you again, doctor. And the doctor's like, oh, did you now? Well, just so you know, I actually happen to be a very curious fellow. Yes, very curious. Now, I have some questions, and you're going to give me some answers. And that part when he's talking about that, and he's like, oh, did you now? Well, I happen to be a very curious fellow. Yes, very curious. I'm sitting there thinking, you can say that again. If there's one thing that gets the doctor in trouble, it's his curiosity. Not just the first doctor, the doctor in general. His curiosity is definitely a metaphor with a cat in that one. I very much just enjoyed the look on Hartnell's face, that huge grin he had. Actually still have it paused because I watched that scene again right before I started filming. It's right there on the TV. I just love that grin on his face when he thinks he has the upper hand. And then when he hears the knock on the door and he's convinced the monk's trying to trick him, he plays along with it anyway. He's like, sure, give me an outfit, I'll wear it. Of course, that happens to be the Vikings at the door who hold him up, and I love how immediately Hartnell switches over to being indignant about it. How dare you hold me up? Don't you get your say I'm a monk. You can't do that to me. And I love the fact when the doctor has the actual meddling monk standing off to the side, and then when he opens the door, you can't see the monk. And then, of course, the Vikings come in and take the doctor hostage. And when the other Viking closes the door, the monk's gone. He has used the opportunity to slip away quietly as a shadow. And I just love the fact the story does that. And two, I love the way that is shot. The actual camera technique there of the monk's there, the door opens, and when the door closes, the monk has just vanished. He's just used the opportunity to sneak away. That's really awesome. I also like that both of the Vikings get knocked out by getting hit over the head. The monk sneaks up on one and knocks him out. And I love how the doctor lures the other one in the cell and hits him over the head. And I like what he says. I didn't think you were going to come in here at all. Or I thought it was going to take me all day to get you to walk in here. Because he's back to being smug doctor again. I love that. Watching the monk as he's formulating his plans, where he's got the little chart out, that was pretty neat. Seems very meticulous. So that's pretty neat to see all that. And then right when he's talking to the tied up one, I've even got convinced them to light the fires to summon your friends. And then, of course, the doctor's got the sword at his throat, and he's like, I knew you'd come back. Tell me about these fires. And again, the doctor's back with that shit-eating grin and that extreme confidence. There are times I just love Hartnell. And then I love the ending. That's a really cool cliffhanger. When they find the cable sticking out of like the desk, and when they look in it, they emerge in the monk's TARDIS. That is a great cliffhanger. Especially, I could imagine when this originally aired, because this is the first time we're seeing another one of the Doctor's people besides the Doctor and Susan. You know, they weren't called Time Lords yet. And, you know, like for me going into it, I know the meddling monk's a Time Lord. I was already familiar with that. I already had a basic familiarity with the story. So it's not as shocking, even though I still thought it was really cool. I didn't know that's how they discovered his TARDIS. I wasn't even sure he had a TARDIS. I wasn't sure if he was stranded there or if he had a TARDIS. So that was kind of news to me. But I didn't know he was a Time Lord. But that had to be pretty amazing, you know, seeing that for the first time when it aired of leading in here, and they look in and suddenly they're emerging inside the TARDIS. And I like the fact that Vicky takes the second to point out the monk has a TARDIS, so people aren't confused thinking maybe it's the Doctor's TARDIS, because we'd already had a scene where we're not quite sure what the Doctor's TARDIS is. Vicky specifically does say that line to point out, nope, this is a different TARDIS, the monk has a TARDIS. I really like that. That's a fantastic cliffhanger. I really, really enjoyed this episode. This is probably my favorite episode thus far. I think I only have one more to go. I think it's a 4-parter. But I'm really enjoying the Time Meddler. I can see why it's so popular. I know the day I'm recording this, it's Armageddon. What would you say if you could only stay one story from each season? That went live today. And I know there have been a few people on their list who have put the Time Meddler for season 2. So, and I can see why. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy watching the monk and the Doctor interact. I'm looking forward to seeing more of that in episode 4. So, episode 3 of the Time Meddler, a battle of wits. What do you think of that particular episode? Comment down below and let me know. I want to give a shout out to Unknown289. He is my subscriber who sent me this. This was a gift from one of my subscribers, which I very much appreciate. It's back here somewhere. I really appreciate you sending me this. I'm very much enjoying this story. It's been really nice being able to see some of Season 2 and learn about Season 2 and learn more about the first Doctor, Ian and Barbara, Stephen and Vicky. I'm really liking Stephen and Vicky in this story. It's nice to be able to see more of them, as all I really knew about them before, well, especially Vicky, was Galaxy 4. So it's nice to see more of Vicky. If there's anything you would like to send me, my P.O. Box is down in the description below if you want to take a second to check that out. I also have a link to my Amazon wish list down there, and a link to my considerably smaller Amazon UK wish list as well. I also have a Patreon. If you like what I do and would like to support what I do, a link to my Patreon is down in the description as well. I do an exclusive video for my middle and top tier patrons every week, usually at the $10 or up tier. They get an exclusive video every week. Sometimes I do early access for stuff. Sometimes I do behind the scenes for stuff. And sometimes I do polls to vote in for videos they would like to see on the channel or on Patreon. So if you're interested in that, check that out as well. Most importantly, though, thank you for watching.